Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna talk about the last video I did of a dragon. It's more of I was testing out a mesh modifier, dynamic mesh. I was seeing how much more I can put in as far as details, but with that, it creates a lot of inconsistency of the mesh. You can see when I put on the grid or on the mesh, you can see there's a lot of condensed areas and some that's not as condensed. You can see in the wings. um I just straight up started with that. It's almost like clay, but when I push it too far, that's when it starts to lag and eventually crash. Even when I try to pose the tail, um I couldn't do it because it just shut down the app. So after I did the video, I was just wondering, how can I fix this or make it more way I could even push more polygons if I wanted to, more details, sculpt more details, and as well as pose it, but without any crashing or slowing down. And I tried to quad remesh, which by the way you have to purchase. It's very cheap. It's only on the iPad only. Thus far. And I tried many ways on far as this dragon. Because it has so many details on there, it's hard for the modifier to do that because every detail try to catch. So what I did, which became the best result, is to split into sections. I got the head, then the neck, and then the body. The body itself, it always most times come out a good flow of it as far as the typology. The neck as well. The head is a little more difficult because there are certain areas you want to have more dense mesh in certain areas, like the eyes. So what I did, split those areas, and then I used the face group. And my way of doing it is I'll mask an area and then use the mask area and invert it, and then use the color tool to apply the face group. And you can see it looks like an eye drop. When it's white, that's when you could change the color of what you're trying to change the color. But if it's an area you're trying to keep the same color, but it's a little different color that's you want to change, make sure it's highlighted in red. Alright, and you can see my process going on right now. Also, when I mask some areas, I use the mask select tool, and I got in the menu the second one from the right. It might look different because I switched my stuff around. I sometimes put back facing on just because I don't always want it to go through the other side. In certain areas I do, in a certain angle. And you can see it did a fairly good job when I applied the remesh, which I try to get to a really low poly. I put it down to 300. In the menu I put there's a poly count, I guess. I can't remember exactly, but I put it to 85 in the menu with the 3-dot menus. You can see the body, pretty good flow. So I'm using two different apps to apply, and you can see it just have a problem right here in the neck area. So to fix certain areas and then apply the whole thing to fix together. The face, to change some things around the face, because it didn't come out. It's a little messy areas, and I just want to make it a little more pliable. So I'm gonna take into Valence 3D app, and the neck I'm going to use the Cozyblanket. And for all three parts, I'm going to put it all together in the in Valence 3D. Also with that, just to let you know way ahead of time, because I made this mistake. You can see is all objects have their own layers, whatever. You want to make sure you combine all three layers when you gonna put it all together in Valence 3D. Otherwise, in Valence 3D, it doesn't have that option where you could apply different objects or separate objects all together. You can mash it together, but when you bring it back to Nomad, it's just going to be separate. So to fix that problem is, before you bring it to Valence 3D to put it all together, make sure you combine everything in a Nomad. All right, we're now in Valence 3D. So the first thing is the head. What I'm gonna do is I'm change color so I can see it better with my eyes. I'm gonna delete half of it. So I'm gonna use the face selection mode. Try to select all the ones on the left, and then delete the middle of the dragon. It got a little crazy flow to it, so you're gonna see some areas. You can see that opening, and then some weird areas in there. So I'm gonna slowly make my way around to each one and fix it. And I'm mirroring the side, and of course you can't connect the mirror mode the other side. So don't worry too much about it. And I'm gonna fix the certain areas, like behind the jawline. So there's a little spike area on his face. I'm gonna fix, just change it around a little bit, and the top of his head, where the eye, around the eye area. Like I said, I'm not trying to make a perfect typology. I just want to make it more workable to use, and also just to show you something you could probably use mainly before adding finer details. But this is something I'm just showing to see if I can fix to allow me to do to pose it while getting some of the details back as well. Maybe I could push more into it as far as details, sculpt more details. So it took me a while, so it's going. I sped through it to make the video a little more shorter. Not gonna try to make it that long. Don't want to do that to you guys. All right. See you guys in a second. now we're in Cozyblanket. So I brought the neck in here. I wanted to show you a simple way of doing it in Cozyblanket, which I think it would be perfect. It'll be fast and easy. It does work with Blender and ZBrush. They have a code where you could seamlessly, instantly transfer update to the file. I wish I could do it with the Nomad and Valence 3D, hopefully in the future, maybe. But anything you create, you can't edit any mesh bringing it into, but you can only create on top of. So I'm just gonna create, you know, new faces. You can stretch them out with the pencil tool, draw them out. You can hold and drag them out as you see. And I can adjust the vertices. Well, you can see the vertices, but the corner edges. And I'm gonna speed it up a little more just to make it a little more faster, but this one didn't take longer, didn't take as long as the head. You do have to be careful around the edges. It can, you know, connect to another side. You could just either delete and not get too close to the edge. We're gonna bring it in Valence 3D to adjust everything and put everything together, so not to worry too much about it. Also at the end of, at some point, I'm gonna use the relax tool that look like an iron tool, kind of. That's good for kind of relax every edge and, you know, not to make it too crazy looking. You know what I mean? I sometimes use the corner tool, but I do use the adjust move tool, you know, just to, you know, move things around. And that's pretty much it, if I don't have to delete anything. Alright, I'm gonna get through this, speed it up, and we go into the next stage. Alright, now we brought it into Valence 3D. Anything you create into Cozyblanket and bring it into, say, for instance, Nomad or mostly Valence 3D or anything like that, you can see the problem. For some reason, it does not connect every face together. Nomad, I think, is fine, but when you're trying to put everything together, all three parts, anything like that, you're gonna have this problem, and it's not gonna work when you bring it back into Nomad with everything. So the only way we can fix this, and it's fast and simple. On the object selection mode, on the right, there's a where you can fix the object. It's gonna take a little time, but it's gonna fix, and you can see me testing out, pulling on the faces and selecting and pulling, and everyone is fixed. Anything simple as this, I would say you can use that on. The face, it will change your progress, whatever you did on there. It's just gonna turn out weird. So I wouldn't say use it on anything like that. Anything simple as this, use it on. It'd be perfect. Now, back in Nomad, we're gonna put everything all in one object, one layer for Valence 3D. Otherwise, it's still separated, but in one layer. Valence 3D doesn't have the option where you can put everything all together in one layer. It'll still be separate. So we have to do it before we import it in there. In the scene menu on top, just select all three and press join, and it's all in one layer as in one object. Alright, back in Valence 3D for the very last time, with everything all together but still separate. Now we're gonna put everything connected together. So the head and neck is pretty much simple. I did have to add more edges to it. I'm gonna delete half of it. Actually, I lied. There's gonna be a one more time back in Valence 3D. Head to the neck, pretty easy. Probably I'd add a few more edges to it, going through it. To the neck, to the body, I did have to change some things around on the body. But nothing too hard. It was not hard to figure out. Like I said, this mesh is not perfect in any manner. The around the shoulder to the arms or the wings, it was a lot more stretched out faces into it. But that's okay. We're gonna work with it. Just to to come up with a new workflow, I think it will work to use and to solve a problem. See you guys. Actually, after this, bring it back to Nomad. I'm gonna put the mirror on it and bring it back in. And then I'm gonna delete the middle section of the whole body, head all the way to the body to the tail. And connect the two sides, bridge two sides, and then add a loop or a edge all in between the new one. That way it doesn't look too flat in the middle. All right. Now we're back in Nomad with everything all put together, bridged together, all in one. Now we're gonna go to multi-res, subdivide it once with the linear subdivision still checked. Subdivide once, and then we're gonna reproject, and then subdivide again without the linear subdivision. Much as all we can go up to, only go up to 4 or 5, I believe. And then I reproject to get most of those details back. But because the typology was not as great, it got to its limit faster because there was be more condensed areas, so it got to its limit quicker. I couldn't push it where it'll have more I would say better pixel detail. But with that said, what I'm doing right now, I went to the layers, made a layer. On the second layer, I'm masking out an area and I'm gonna pose detail. And I'm using the mask tool to little by little to rotate. Also, I'm using the pivot to change the position to where I want it to rotate. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna work. Right after where I like it, you can see when I bring it all the way to 0, it's back to the original position. I'm gonna rename it, and then I'm gonna make another layer. This one just for turning the mesh into using the dynamic mesh. So that's gonna change the whole topology of it. And I'm gonna reproject it again just to see if I can get more detail in it. But it allows me to sculpt more onto it as well. I use the one on the screen size, so the closer you get, the more pixely it becomes. But the other ones you can use, the one that's based on your draw size, I believe that's going to give you more denser pixels. But just to give you an idea, I can push this to the limit, and after I'm finished, I could just go back to the layer and take it down to 0 with the position, the posing, and without trying to pose at a high pixel ratio, high density, that'll give me lagging or less. So you could bring it back to T-pose, do the symmetry, and then bring it back to the pose you had it in without using it symmetry. And I think that's a perfect workflow of creating a character and creatures. My next video, I'm going to show the whole setup on how to, creating a simple shape base character using all the subdivisions, multi-res, voxel, and the dynamic mesh, and show you the whole process. So I think that works for me with posing the character. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you find this very helpful. And I'll see you guys in my next video.